My own feeling is that the discussion and decision on that case will be a black-white decision.
I wonder if you could elaborate.
That it will be decided on in terms of color, a white policeman shooting a black man, rather than in terms of his guilt. I think that that speaks for the tragedy of the country and the racial situation which now exists today. I myself have been called a black nationalist by the press, and I have not used the word. I want people to understand that that word is a word that's been put on us by the press services. I don't know what it means. My own feeling is that they're trying to do with that word the same type of thing they could do with the word communist, and that they're trying to black bait SNCC since they failed in red baiting us. But they've also been saying that the whites have been purged out of the organization, and that is not true. That we're developing a white project to work in the white community. And the reason why we need white workers to work in the white community is that it became crystal clear to us that on May 3rd that we had developed the black community, but there were no moderate bases in the white community in the South. That the white nationalists voted for George Wallace, and that was the whole state of Alabama. And that if there is to be a base that we can hook up with, we, the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, must develop that base. And we have to have white workers organize that base, and that's what they're going to do.
Are you ready to go up there now, sir? What are you planning on doing? Then you better wait right here.
I can't go. I just got out of jail. I can't visit him after 6 months.
Should I send him your love?
Huh?
Should I send him your love?
What's that?
Should I send him your love?
To tell us for the Black Power. Black Power.
Stokely, what are you going to do? You're going to talk to Brett Stokely?
Stand by.
Who's on the left there? I can't...
Hold it. Hold it. Hold it. You sure looking beautiful.
Mr. Carmichael has been in constant contact, and there's a merger going on with the SNCC and the Black Panther Party for Self-Defense to unify black people around this country in terms of trying to liberate themselves, and programs of trying to liberate themselves and dealing with their problems on a practical level other than what's been going on, and with respect to poverty programs and how the racist government and other races have been controlling mediocre programs, etc.
Some people are saying you're racist and fascist as well. Would you answer
On the
that?
contrary, how can I be racist? I don't lynch white people. On the contrary, I have never lynched thousands of white people. I don't murder white people. All I'm talking about is the right for every black man to defend himself. That's all I'm talking about.
Right here.
Else.
Thank you.
What is that?
Let me get a little bit up.
Yeah, but you got a pass? You have to have a
Just
pass.
sign.
You gave her the left and right. If we can get the policeman out of the way, it'll be better off.
Yeah, could you step aside a second?
We'd like to have a left and right.
500 posters distributed throughout the San Francisco Oakland Bay Area advertising this rally, and in Oakland some 500 posters have been ripped down off the streets by the policemen. See you later, Stoke. All right.
I don't think there's any such thing as a backlash. I think that is a rationalization for white America of the race. racist nature of America. I think that the harder black people push for their liberation, the more institutions they threaten in white society, the stronger white people will fight to maintain those positions. For example, in Cicero this summer, black people knew that they could not live in Cicero. White people knew that they would not allow black people to live in Cicero. When black people threatened and challenged white people, when they attempted to move into Cicero, then white people had to stop them. That's not a backlash, that's white people defending traditional ways of life that have been unchallenged by black people. I think that's what the entire society has been calling a backlash. For example, when California, as liberal as it is supposed to be, had an opportunity to vote on Proposition 14, we saw just how liberal that state was. And that was not a backlash, that was white people reinforcing their institutions and their ways of life. I think I don't think that it makes a difference. I think that's one of the fallacies of thinking in American politics, that an individual can somehow bring about fleeting changes. I think that we have to change the institutions to bring about the changes that we want.
Well, did you feel the Republican sweep was a reflection of backlash?
Continuum of that racism. It's not a backlash.
Our experience with the national press has been that where they have managed to escape a meretricious special interest in get whitey sensationalism and race warmongering, individual reporters and commentators, including the editorial twins of America, Chet and David, have been conditioned by the enveloping racism of the society to the point where they are incapable even of objective observation and reporting of racial incidents, much less the analysis of ideas. But this limitation in vision and perception is an inevitable consequence of the dictatorship of definitions, interpretation, and consciousness, along with the censorship of history that the society has inflicted upon the blacks and consequently upon itself. Our concern for black power addresses itself directly to this problem: the necessity to reclaim our history and our identity from the cultural terrorism and depredation of self-justifying white guilt.
I don't think there's any such thing as a backlash. I think that is a rationalization for white America of the racist nature of America. I think that the harder black people push for their liberation, the more institutions they threaten in white society, the stronger white people will fight to maintain those positions. For example, in Cicero this summer, black people knew that they could not live in Cicero. White people knew that they would not allow black people to live in Cicero. When black people threatened and challenged white people, when they attempted to move into Cicero, then white people had to stop them. That's not a backlash, that's white people defending traditional ways of life that have been unchallenged by black people. I think that's what the entire society has been calling a backlash. For example, when California, as liberal as it is supposed to be, had an opportunity to vote on Proposition 14, we saw just how liberal that state was. And that was not a backlash, that was white people reinforcing their institutions and their ways of life. And so if the election is anything, it's just a continuum of that racism. It's not a backlash.
Oh yes, well, I am much older now. I'm more knowledgeable, I'm more experienced, and I'm more determined. I see clearer now. Before I might have think the capitalist system would fall, but now I know it's falling and it's going to fall.
He's doing something good and give his own life for an unjust cause, it will confuse us.
The revolution process itself purifies itself by getting rid of most of the opportunist element. And if we look properly, we will see since the 60s, most of the opportunist element have been swept out of the way. Some have gone to the church, others have gone to the movies, but the real serious ones are on the case because the people are still oppressed.
Also agree with me that less than 2% could give us an I seek to know him. I want to know his position is the correct position. You will come to my position. That's good, that's good. Because the truth is outside each of us. Truth is never to be found inside anybody.
The objective of our party is Pan-Africanism, which is the total liberation and unification of Africa under scientific socialism. Our party understands that this is the only solution for the liberation of the Africans scattered all over the world.
Is that the students must become. Not at all. It's not you coming. No.
He admits.
Mr. Carmichael, do you see any change in atmosphere in the South? Do you think that we are approaching a more militant or revolutionary stage in the civil rights movement in the South?
Yes, I certainly think so. I think we're moving now into a political arena. And I think that what Negroes are now tampering in, what they're tampering with, will touch the entire country. To be very precise, for example, many Negroes who have registered to vote have been evicted from their lands in Lowndes County. People who have worked on plantations for 35, 40 years, because they've registered to vote, have been evicted. So that raises a philosophical question, not only for us, but for the whole country. Can property-less people be made as equal as property owners through the vote?
Do you think the formation of your party, the Black Panther Party, is perhaps contributing to the change in atmosphere and making it, in fact, more explosive?
Yes, I certainly think so, because this is the first time in the country that Negroes will be organized for their own political interest, and they will form their own party and move along those interests as they see fit. It is unlike Negroes across the country who are registered in the Democratic Party but are not organized for their own interest.
Now, what I don't understand is this. You are also a member of the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee. At the same time, you are organizing a group in the South which almost certainly will tend to contribute to violence, or at least counter-violence.
Well, they won't contribute to violence. They will just be seeking their political rights, and they will have to defend those rights. Now, they will defend it the way the country defends its own rights, the way we defended in Vietnam, the way we defended it in World War II, the way we defended it in World War I, the way we're going to defend it in the Dominican Republic, I imagine. They will defend it the same way, violently.
The petition for a stay, not for reversal of the order, but simply for a stay of the enactment of this order to return him to the penitentiary until the Supreme Court could listen to the decision, was turned down today by Justice Thurgood Marshall.
Eldridge Cleaver, recognizing you as not only an author and leader, but also an intellectual spokesman, we take pride in your association with the University of California. Today, every university must re-examine its relationship to its students and to society at large. Thus, we salute your contribution to the search for new educational programs which meet a period of crisis. We dedicate ourselves to the cause that your distinctive message and your voice may be heard in future without hindrance in an academic community where no seeker after truth shall be denied.
I'm not saying that at all. I said, I don't know what the plans are. The only thing I know of is that my husband had arranged with his attorney to arrange the surrender. Then I read in the paper about these interviews and statements that he said that he was going to call his parole officer, but he wasn't going to surrender himself. So I mean, he said in many speeches that he was going to hide, he wasn't going, and he's made it very clear all through that he wasn't going to the penitentiary. But in terms of specific plans, I don't know.
And so the vigil continues on the steps of the home of Eldridge Cleaver. And according to those participating, they will stay there until Eldridge is either admonished or incarcerated. Bob Marsden, KRON-TV News.
Once again, this is 50 years of celebrating African American history, the African American Day Parade.